The Mercy Fleet. Part 3. The Ship at the Front. Captain Lysa Sol led the Afaran fighters out from beneath the Resolute's hull. Her squadron numbered 87. The Dominion sent 200. The tactical display filled her cockpit with red targeting marks as the enemy formation spread across the corridor. The Dominion pilots approached in disciplined waves, their ships aligned so precisely that they seemed joined together, each wing adjusting its movement according to a single mind. Lysa opened the squadron channel. "They are coming for the Mercy," she said. "We are not here to chase kills. Break their attack lines, force them away from the broadcast ship, and conserve ammunition. Stay close enough to cover one another." A pilot named Tarek laughed nervously through the channel. "Anything else?" "Yes, do not die." The Dominion fired first. Blue lances crossed the darkness in dense patterns. Lysa rolled her fighter and felt the inertial restraints tighten across her chest as the energy bolts passed beneath her wing. 2 Afaran pilots disappeared from the formation almost immediately, their ships reduced to expanding fields of molten fragments. Lysa pushed the loss from her mind. Second wing, cut across their lower line. Third wing, release countermeasures. The Afaran fighters divided. They lacked the Dominion's speed and armor, but they knew the corridor. They flew between drifting asteroids, abandoned mining equipment, and the frozen wreckage of ships destroyed decades earlier. The Dominion formation followed, remaining disciplined until the space around them became too narrow to maintain alignment. Lysa saw the opening. "Turn on my mark." She waited until the lead enemy fighter filled her forward view. "Now." The Afaran squadron reversed direction as one. Lysa's cannons fired a controlled burst. The Dominion fighter ahead of her twisted to avoid it and collided with the vessel beside it. Both ships broke apart, forcing the enemy formation to divide around the wreckage. Behind them, the Mercy continued to broadcast. "Give thanks to the Keeper, for he is good." The words entered Lysa's cockpit between warnings, targeting alerts, and the frightened voices of her pilots. "His mercy endures forever." A Dominion fighter locked onto the Mercy. Lysa saw its missiles deploy. She accelerated beyond the safety limit of her engine, cut across the missile path, and released every flare her ship carried. 3 missiles followed the decoys. The 4th struck her rear shield and spun her fighter sideways. The stars became a blur. Her head slammed against the restraint. The cockpit flashed red. "Captain," Tarek shouted, "I am here." She fought the controls, forcing the fighter out of its spin. A Dominion ship appeared directly in front of her. Lysa fired. The enemy cockpit vanished beneath a burst of white flame. She had no time to watch the wreckage pass. More ships were moving toward the Mercy, and the Mercy had begun to take fire. The first impact threw Elias against the transmission chamber wall. The song faltered. One of the technicians fell to his knees as sparks rained from the ceiling. Emergency shutters sealed across the viewport, leaving them surrounded by red light and the deep groaning of the ship's hull. Elias pushed himself upright. "Keep singing." Micah stared at him. "We have been hit." "I know. Should we not get to the escape pods?" "If the bridge orders an evacuation, we evacuate. Until then, we continue." Another blast struck the Mercy. This one tore open the lower engineering deck. The pilot's voice came through the intercom, strained by pain. "We have lost primary propulsion. Defensive cannons are offline. Atmosphere is venting from decks 4 and 5. Elias activated the bridge channel. Can we maintain transmission?" "For now." "Then hold position." The teacher, Sarai, looked toward him. "Your brother ordered us to advance." "My brother ordered us to take our position. This is it." The chamber doors shook. A metallic scraping traveled through the hull. One of the naval technicians looked toward the ceiling. "That is not weapons fire." The ship's internal sensors activated. A Dominion boarding vessel had attached itself to the Mercy's upper deck. Elias drew the pistol secured against his thigh. The others stared at him. "You said we were not attacking," Micah whispered. "We are not. Elias checked the weapon's charge. But they are coming inside. The Dominion boarding team entered through the Mercy's service corridor. 12 soldiers cut through the outer hatch and advanced in armored formation, their rifles equipped with thermal scanners and short-range plasma emitters. They expected technicians and unarmed civilians. The first Efaran defender dropped from an overhead maintenance shaft and drove a welding blade through the joint beneath a soldier's helmet. The corridor exploded into violence. Elias fired from behind a support beam, striking the second boarder in the chest. The blast did not penetrate the armor, but it knocked the soldier backward and disrupted the formation. 2 Efaran technicians opened fire from the opposite junction. The Dominion responded with plasma. The wall beside Elias melted into orange liquid. He withdrew his hand just before the heat reached him, rolled across the corridor, and fired from the floor. His shot struck a boarder's exposed weapon cell. The rifle detonated, filling the passage with smoke and fragments of armor. Someone screamed behind him. Micah stood in the transmission chamber doorway, dragging a wounded technician away from the line of fire. "Get inside!" Elias shouted. The young man pulled the technician through the doorway as plasma burned across the frame. Elias retreated after them. The surviving defenders sealed the chamber doors. For several seconds, there was only the sound of their breathing and the steady hymn continuing through the speakers. Sarai and the other singers had never stopped. Their voices shook whenever the ship was struck, but they continued the same declaration. His mercy endures forever. The metal at the center of the doors began to glow. "They are cutting through," one technician said. Elias looked around the chamber. There were 9 people capable of standing. 3 had weapons. One of those weapons had less than half a charge remaining. Mara's voice suddenly entered his helmet. "Mercy, this is Resolute. Enemy activity is changing. Can you continue broadcasting?" Elias looked toward the glowing doors. "For a little while. Hold as long as you can. Something is happening between their fleets." The cutting beam pushed deeper. Elias positioned himself behind the central console. "What is happening?" The Dominion just locked weapons onto a Karad carrier. "Did they fire?" "Not yet." Elias glanced at Sarai. She heard the conversation and nodded toward him. "Then we will continue until they do." On the bridge of the Dominion flagship, High Admiral Vore watched the Karad formation spread across the corridor. The Mercy's broadcast continued to carry data that should have been impossible. Dominion command codes, private coordinates, encrypted orders bearing Vore's own authorization. One order directed the Karad toward the unprotected flank of the Dominion's 3rd dreadnought. Vore turned toward his intelligence officer. "Did the Karad breach our system?" "We cannot determine how." "You told me the Efaran transmission contained Karad telemetry." "It does." "Then they are communicating." "Possibly." Vore's face hardened. The alliance had never been built upon trust. The Dominion wanted Afara's mines. The Karad wanted the planet's population. The Sable Accord wanted an ancient structure buried beneath Afara's northern continent. Their agreement lasted only until the colony fell. Vore opened a channel to Karad Command. A creature appeared on the screen. The Karad speaker had 6 black eyes and a mouth divided vertically through its face. Its voice came through the translator in wet, mechanical tones. "You position weapons against us." Vore stared at it. "Your ships are moving toward my flank." "We respond to Dominion betrayal. You have intercepted Efaran lies. You transmit coordinates to the Sable Accord. I transmitted nothing." The Karad creature leaned closer to its visual sensor. "Then someone commands your fleet without you." The channel closed. Vore's hand tightened into a fist. "Target the lead Karad carrier." His weapons officer looked toward him. "Admiral, do not fire. Lock weapons only." Across the corridor, the Karad detected the targeting signal. They did not wait for an explanation. 3 Karad vessels released a swarm of living missiles. The missiles crossed the space between the fleets and struck a Dominion cruiser along its engine line. The ship broke in half. For a moment, both fleets froze. Then, High Admiral Vore gave the order that ended the alliance. Destroy them. The Dominion dreadnoughts opened fire. The Mercy's doors collapsed inward. Dominion boarders entered through the smoke. Elias fired until his pistol emptied. A plasma bolt struck the console beside him and threw him backward. He hit the floor, unable to breathe, while the first boarder crossed into the chamber. Micah stepped between the soldier and the singers. He carried no weapon. The soldier raised his rifle. Before he could fire, the entire ship tilted violently. The boarder lost his footing. One of the naval technicians seized him around the waist and drove him into the damaged doorway. Elias forced himself upright, grabbed the soldier's rifle, and fired into the remaining boarding team. The recoil nearly tore the weapon from his hands. 2 boarders fell. Another shot came from the corridor, striking Elias below the shoulder. He dropped. Heat spread through his body. He could hear Micah shouting, but the sound seemed far away. Then the Dominion soldiers stopped advancing. Their helmet channels had filled with new orders. All forces were being recalled. The Karad had opened fire on the Dominion fleet. The boarders withdrew as quickly as they had entered, dragging their wounded through the corridor toward the attached transport. Micah crawled to Elias and pressed both hands against the wound. "You are bleeding." Elias looked toward the singers. Their voices continued, weakly, painfully, but without interruption. He smiled. "So are they." Beyond the damaged hull, the darkness erupted as hundreds of Dominion and Karad ships turned their weapons upon one another.